Well, we're back
Give me
now.
like 2 seconds to shut
Nope,
the
it's too
Well,
late.
okay, we're back.
Let's make sure this is
I'm going to
working.
go close the door.
All right, yeah, look at the magic that has happened with OBS Studio. I was able to make live changes during the game so that we now have a non-shitty dice overlay that I wasn't going to have in the first place. If you've considered becoming a streamer, think of getting the OBS system. It's fancy and amazing, and it costs you $0.
Get OBS Studio.
Pay me OBS. Yeah, I mean, that's what, but...
Yeah. Because it comes with all the nice plugins that normal OBS doesn't.
I mean, that's what I was literally selling right here.
Oh, right.
Fine.
I didn't know.
Fine. It's fine, SciFri.
It's fine, because I'm ready for the stream.
You're
More
on
importantly,
brand. That's all that
Kirby
matters.
is ready for the stream.
You're on brand. All right. So, let's do some scheming. We got some scheming to do. Right? Everybody's ready to scheme.
Yeah.
I assume.
Let's scheme.
It seems like that's basically Wreckage's whole life is scheming.
Yep.
Both in and out.
I had a misspent youth.
I feel like that's very common in cowboy settings.
Do they have a scheming specific to... I'm pretty sure they do. Telling tales, ideas. Okay, so... Do you want to do, like, Western style? Well, okay. There's a couple premises here. Are you looking for progress and promise? Are you looking for rough's justice? Are you looking for westerns and ally of law? Are you looking for technological tales? Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, this is technically a Western, but I'm not sure it's... Like, it is a classic Western story archetype from the perspective of the villains. So I'm not sure if the Western premise setup favors that. It might, it might work better.
The scheming thing is basically entirely freeform.
Right.
Yeah, so we're just going to go through the scheme list. It's the same one from before, except we might change certain keywords.
Okay. Is there any specific page that
like
we should...
obligator is not a word we would use anymore.
It's a revolver, arrow Saito. I mean, obviously, we even have to ask. It's some kind of revolver, right? Flint's gun.
Yeah, it's a It's a 4-shot revolver.
Oh, that's less shots than one would expect.
But it packs. It's a 4-shot revolver that packs excellent range and average stopping power.
Okay, so you're now having the scene that everyone hates from Metal Gear Solid 3, where Snake is literally ejaculating over his gun, and he's like, "Is that a M1911?
I thought you were going to say the scene from Snake Eater where he's climbing up the ladder.
No.
Are we climbing up a ladder? Let's do a scheme.
Yeah. So, here's the scheme. It's the same one we've been doing. It's the worksheet.
Right.
It's on the table. So what is your goal?
Oh.
Our goal is to acquire the property of Old Lady McFanny in the short term. So we're doing the short term.
I think maybe your goal is to acquire property. It's getting Old Lady McFanny is what's standing in your way.
Right. So wait, scheme is short term though, right? Like it's our current.
No, scheme is the long term. Plan of action
is short term. Is short term. Okay, so our long term scheme is to establish land and power. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Acquiring land and power for
our no good band of our band of no good criminals. Gotcha.
I mean, now that it's on the sheet, you have to be no good criminals. You can't do anything else.
I don't think that's how that works.
We could be sometimes.
I mean, it's on the sheet. It's in the game now.
Average criminals? I mean, not
no good is an expression. It is
no good.
I mean,
there's no good criminals in this.
It's on the
game,
table. I can't change it now. Like, I mean, you said it.
SciFri, change it. You're the king. Arthur's gonna have a bar of aluminum up his butt over this. So
wow, good usage of terminology.
Give him a fucking advancement.
Bar of aluminum. What is your method? How do you guys get things done?
We're going to how do you phrase it? So what is it called when, I guess, is there a name for my criminals are going to put criminal pressure on her, and then I'm going to offer her a legitimate way out of the situation,
I
pretending.
believe they call that extortion.
Yeah, extortion or strong arming.
Extortion, strong arm. We're going to strong arm her off her property. Well, wait, no, we're going to strong arm people off of their property. Because, right, again, this is the long-term one.
Yep.
So we strong arm people off of their properties and possessions and etc.
Yeah. Sounds great, you monster.
All right, so I've got.
Look, when I'm Lord
extorting
Governor
our opposition,
and everything's
criminal
great,
actions and false diplomacy.
everything I've ever done will be completely justified.
Once I wear the crown. Heard that one before.
Exactly.
What is standing in your way?
The law. The other business interests. Can there be more than one answer to that question?
Yeah, there can be plenty of
the
answers
law,
to that question.
Other people who are trying to buy property.
Rightful owners, we could say.
Rightful owners of property. The law.
Opposing.
The rightful owners.
I'm gonna
our own morals sometimes
opposing
stop us
game
from.
on there. I'm gonna put.
The law, other businesses, other political aspirants, and the average person.
Really got him in for us. All right.
Now, for some of you in chat, like Plastic Little, this is the players choosing the form of their destructor. In this case, it's basically everyone. Because the law, rightful owners, opposing gangs, and your political agendas. I think maybe old lady McFanny's sheep are the only people who won't be opposing you in this battle.
Keep in mind
Well,
that these are possible obstacles that the GM will select.
I don't know, yeah. Because she might have allies, or we might make it bad with someone else.
There aren't necessarily opposing. There aren't necessarily other business interests. Arthur picks and chooses to make
It's,
Well, like, 'cause
mating
what if,
season. The Rams are going to be hard to move.
Well, yeah,
off the
well, because
property.
what if another gang rolls into town and, like, sees what we're doing and they're like, I don't take kindly to the cut of your jib.
So, what is your way in? This is your opportunity.
Our opportunity is our legitimate business. Like, I run a legitimate landowning business. So our way in is that we
real estate, right?
Real estate.
Okay. We need a better way of saying it than that, because that's going to be the first part of your scheme or your plan of action. So it's that you run a legitimate, maybe protection racket, or
I run a legitimate landowning business. I just happen to use criminals to acquire the property that I specifically want.
Okay,
So
all right.
we launder the land.
What do you have to work with?
Law of ruthless mercenary, or a band of ruthless mercenaries.
So, as an asset, you already have like a group of people, like mercenaries, that work with you.
No, I mean just these guys. I was naming.
Okay, that's not an asset then. An asset is something outside of your standings and advancements.
My legitimate
maybe
business.
We have a couple hired guns.
Maybe we do. I suppose. I guess
Let me throw some possible Mistborn 1 era assets at you, like combination to a merchant safe, an ancient tome with partial answers to a pressing puzzle, a single vial of a new allomantic metal. So what you have to work with here could be something involving like
the fact that I know about this new development that's happening.
Just maybe it's like disputed lands or something.
Like
you could have I mean, that's a legitimate thing. You could be like, I have this land claim from someone 20 years ago who owned it before McFanny did, and this guy here, this reporter, happens to be the legitimate owner, and now we're going to dispute it and force you off the land.
So I guess
and all your sheep are poisoned and dead anyways. Mysteriously, so you don't eat it anyway.
So
I'm very sorry that this particular circumstance has come up. I understand that this is a dispute. I am willing to pay for the property that you still have that is intact, so you won't be losing any money on this deal.
So we have land claims and a face of legitimacy.
So yeah, this land claim. Let's go a little bit more into that. Is it real or is it forged?
Forged.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to say that it's so it could be forged. It also could be real, but like if it went completely to court, old lady McFanny's
maybe it's a land
because it's so old, right? Like
expired. Yeah.
Like what I'm basically saying is like somebody offered this to me in a deal, and it turned out that there was someone still on the land, and that she has a more legitimate claim, of course. But then I sort of used the dispute to pressure her into selling.
Well, my thought again, I don't want to play your character.
We also do criminal things and rob.
But yeah, you could approach her, and your in could be like, someone has come to me with this claim. I'm telling you now, if you sell to me, I can get a better price for it than you. They'll just push you around because you're an old lady. Sell to me, or these guys are going to come after you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah. So your assets are possibly falsified land claim, and
and we don't know that like old lady McFanny is like super for some reason beloved by everyone. Maybe
no. So what we don't know is how much old lady McFanny like is attached emotionally to her property. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know. I'm not personally familiar with the courts out here, so I don't know like how
courts.
Who has?
They give one person a sheriff's badge per town, and that's it.
I'm not familiar with how the sheriff will
shoot you in the face.
I'm not familiar with how the sheriff will mediate this dispute. So unfamiliar.
Shoot someone in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But he doesn't know the steps right before that.
Okay, so what you don't know is if the land has sentimental value, the reaction of the lawman. Anything else you don't know?
We don't know if anybody else wants the land.
Okay. Don't know if there's a third party.
Also, I think if I could add one more thing to what we have to work with, I think something we have to work with is we have the strength to possibly intimidate someone if negotiations fall out.
So for that to be a thing, you would have to have like a gang to do that for you.
We have a Colossus-blooded pewter burner.
Right, but that's not an asset. That's an actual character. And an asset is something you don't own, but is something that is available to you.
Yeah, we'll just play that.
Okay. I think we got enough. This is just supposed to be a framework for everybody to go off of. We can still do things that aren't on the list.
All right. So what could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? This is what always shoots you in the foot.
Old
the
McFanny.
Lawman could shoot us in the foot and the face.
The lawman.
I think your problem is the lawman probably won't shoot you in the feet.
Unfortunately, Sheriff McFanny is not going to be happy.
Old lady Sheriff McFanny.
Not her. I like to think that maybe her nephew is the sheriff.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So what could go wrong? Her nephew could show up.
I guess.
Why did we do that? Why did we just make her nephew the law?
Because I wanted lulz, and saying Sheriff McFanny was funny.
I guess another thing that could go wrong is she could have.
See, look, I got one from Sharky.
Like, she could have some sort of security we don't know about. Like, maybe she has hired guns that we don't know about. Or
she might have assets that we're unaware of. So she could call upon assets that hinder our plan. She could sell to somebody else.
So, I mean, what could go wrong here, just to sum this all up, is part of what you don't know, and what could go wrong is you know nothing about McFanny. Basically, you're just walking onto her land with this possibly fake claim and be like, get off the land, and she could be the greatest marksman known to man. She could have been called Revolver Cougar back in the day, and you have no idea.
Bravo.
That was super sexist, by the way. I apologize.
No, but the ocelot thing works.
I was looking for a quick pun, and
I think that's
really deserving.
And question 8, what comes next?
Puns.
Yeah, assuming that your scam works perfectly here, what's the best possible outcome?
we begin to seize and launder the land, and then.
Well, we have a stat. I increase my land holdings, which increases my power and my influence, and therefore the power and influence of the Beaumont boys, and we move on to the next target.
None of that is what comes next. I mean, all of that happens as a result of your thing succeeding, right?
Right. So
what comes next is
we make a move on a position of political power, not just economic power. So we try and get in as like the mayor or something.
Okay.
Kiss babies and stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No doubt.
Vote Beaumont.
Beaumont for bosun. No, that's a ship's.
Beaumont's the boss.
You will get 1/2 experience point for trying, Arthur.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You tried the method.
All right, so we have the scheme.
Let's talk about the plan of action now. Wow, we actually got that scheme down pretty quick. Was that 10 minutes?
McFanny.
Wow, we stopped sucking at doing this, and
All
by
right,
we, I actually mean
this.
you.
Watch
But
me blow through this.
your cruise in is the answer to question 4, which is filtering your ill-gotten gains through legitimate land earning. But that's not correct. I mean, that's a thing you do, but that's not your in here.
Yeah, what we said something else for our in previously that we liked and did.
What is our in then?
What did we
Your
say?
in is the fake claim, right?
Right.
Your in is going in and just intimidating her with the 1-2 punch.
Yeah. This land is my land. This land ain't your land. I got a shotgun and you ain't got one.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, plan of action. Objective 1. So objective 1 is to establish to McFanny that a group of no goods is going to try and wants her land.
Okay.
So to make it clear to her that some no goods want her land.
All right.
Do we fill out twists and allies and enemies here? Secrets?
No, that's me. You give objectives, and I throw everything else down.
Objective 2 is to present her with the legitimate business proposition to buy her property afterwards. Like, that's the next thing that happens.
Okay.
Objective 3 is
take a glorious photograph of them shaking hands over a document.
Repeat objective 2.
Objective 3 is
to... No, he wants 2.
We need our court stenographer to...
Oh, sorry, court stenographer. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Going so fast, Rick.
Objective 2 is to present her with the legitimate alternative. So those things are totally separate, though. Like, we established that there's this threat, and then a few days later, I show up like, I understand that you're under a bit of pressure, and relieve her of her. Maybe it all works right there. Objective 3 is to.
I love how you're. Maybe it all works right there. It's like he's never played Mistborn before.
Like as if he hasn't rolled dice in Mistborn.
As if I haven't played with Arthur as the GM, you mean?
The devious.
Objective 3 is to what's the word I'm looking for here? Double down on the threat of objective 1.
Oh, so first you're gonna be like, I heard that there's these guys who might come to scare your land.
No, it's the other way around.
And then you show up in objective 3 like, and here are the guys coming to scare you off.
No, it's objective 1 happens first. The guys show up first.
Oh, they show up at first.
Like, we're going to get your land. We got this claim. And then I'm going to show up and be like, look, I understand that this is happening. They're going to just take it from you. I'm going to pay you for it. And then we ramp up the whole threat thing. And then objective 4 is to come back again.
Okay. I don't know what
the boys have the claim, not specifically your character.
Right, the boys have the claim, and
you're
my
the
guy
mediator. So objective 3 is to mediate.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
It's like Warren G regulating, but it's a lot slower and nowhere near as good a song.
The claim owners.
Mediators.
McFanny.
I don't know.
It just doesn't work as well.
Okay, what's objective 4?
What is objective 4, Wreckage?
So objective 3 was going to be more like double down on the threat, and then objective 4 is come make an even better offer.
I don't know what does double down.
No, that was fine, wasn't it? Hold on, let's slow down with your deleting of stuff. Just Control Z that. That is what we're doing. We have thugs go claim that it's owned, not that she doesn't own it. We have Rick go and be like, look, I'm here to buy your land.
This is a legitimate way out of your problem. I'll handle these thugs.
And then, be like, okay, like, yeah,
objective 4
I'm gonna pay off the thugs and pay you, and then it's all gonna be settled.
So mediate between the thugs and McFanny. So is objective 4 then presume that those objectives went well? Like, is that fine? Or does it have to be open-ended?
You can switch things up along the way.
All right, so objective 4 then is to purchase the land, like legitimately as the result of our scheming, and then objective 5 is to play up Beaumont after purchasing the land, successfully driving away the thugs.
You literally have a gunfight with them in town, and it's super fake, and everyone's like, "Yay, Beaumont!" And you're like, "Get your hands like shaking because you only got 2 physique. Get out of this town, you heathens!" And everyone's like, "Oh no!"
Right? This is amazing.
I mean, Beaumont doesn't pretend to actually be the hero. He's going to hire his guard people to do it. His good mercenaries will then drive, and like they're both gang.
So again, if Virgil is taking the picture, right, and SciFri is the one scaring them off, you are going to need to make a resources or an influence roll to scrounge up some scruffy, no good nerf herders to play the bad guys.
There's so many nerf herders out here.
All right.
All right. I think that's a perfect plan that will. I can't wait to play it.
Flawless.
I can't wait for Kelsa and Tux to be involved in that plan as well.
Okay. So real quick, here are the compounding rules, because someone reminded me to go over them real quick.
Oh, right.
When you compound, you allomantically burn a charged metal mine. So metal mines are what you store your ferrochemy in. You can only compound a metal mine in your body. Typically, this must be a small metal mine holding 25 charges. To compound...
Oh, right. Our metal mines have to be something that we physically wear, right?
Yes. Well, you have to be able to eat it. Or you spike yourself with it, which is horribly painful and obvious.
No, he's talking about just the metal mine for normal ferrochemy.
Yes.
It just needs to be touching.
Yep. Yeah, it has to be touching you. To compound, you must expend 1 or more charges from your metal mine, much like you would tap a ferrochemical charge. However, each charge you compound provides 10 ferrochemical charges. The maximum number of ferrochemical charges you can spend per action is limited by your ferrochemy rating times 10. So, both of you can do 40. It is metal mined plastic, as in made of metal.
The metal thing that you can store different
attributes in.
I'm not exactly sure what compounding actually means.
Okay, so...
ring or armband.
You can store in a metal mine, right? And then you've got 1 charge.
Yeah.
Then because you are also an allomancer and can burn this metal, you devour that thing, burn it, and get 10 charges for 1 charge.
Because there's the metal and saved up stuff inside of that metal.
So you're going to want to go back to your Mistborn adventure game book and look up the steel chapter. And you'll notice that you can spend steel to improve some of your skills, right? It'll let you improve how fast you can act. But you can also be like, I'm going to spend 40 charges to move super far this round.
I see.
You can only compound a number of charges equal to your allomancy rating in that level. So you can only do, I think you guys can do 40 and 40, right? Yeah. You can only compound 40 and you can only spend 40.
So how would that work?
Each ferrochemical charge you compound from your metal mine reduces that metal mine's capacity by an equal amount. So you can like throw the metal mine up back at the end of the thing, but it's wrecked basically. And if you get a new metal mine, you'll have to spend the long breather to store in that one.
So basically, as compounders, our metal mines are.
We can charge our metal mines very quickly. Is the point?
Yes.
Wait, the metal mines are the same, like physically the same metal as like the allomancy beads.
Yep.
Okay.
Since compounding yields a great deal of ferrochemical charges, compounders use excess charges to fill other metal mines. Storing in this way may not be as simple as burning the charges immediately. It allows you to quickly load up stored charges. For every 5 charges you spend to store, you may store 1 charge in any other metal mine you have. That gets a little complex. The point is, you can fill up your charges.
We can charge real quick.
Right, and so SciFri is a steel, which is known as a swift, and Wreckage is a chromium, which is known as a ringer. The description is incredibly unfairly lucky. And steel as a swift is fast and destructive, often criminals.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I think we've got the whole planned here.
Yeah. Well, I guess just.
Oh my god, this power is literally OP as fuck. Extra action stunt, compounding. Once per beat, you may tap 40 compounded steel to take 2 actions a turn.
Oh, that's dope. But
Yep.
That's a lot of steel. I only
Yep.
have 100 of that.
Right, but remember when you're compounding, 4 charges turns into 40.
So in order to charge 40, you only need 4, or to compound. In order to do that power, you need to have saved up 4 charges.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have 100 ferrochemic charges and 3 allomancy charges.
So, let's set the scene here. You're attempting to convince McFanny that the land is owned by no goods who will try to rip her off her land. Who are you?
So what I actually want to do, I guess it's unfortunate that Tux didn't join us here.
Yeah, who are you sending in to do this?
So, why don't we get ahead of ourselves and actually cut to the chase? And can we open with
we arrive after the thing is after she's been threatened? Or?
No, here's what I want to do. Is the first thing that we do in game, can it be to make the resources check I need to do to hire some people to populate
the game? We start in Trumadil, where you are trying to hire up some no good, dirty bandits to help you knock over old lady McFanny's. All right. Well, you are attempting to acquire people, so you're attempting to make a standings roll. Let's see here. And you're going to use money to do this. You're doing resources?
Yep.
Buying equipment, securing services. Okay, assembling of forces. What level of forces are you looking for? A unit of 20 soldiers, a warband of 100 soldiers, a company of 500?
The thing that's less than 20.
That 20 is the lowest you can go. So difficulty 1, resources, will be 20 soldiers led by like a bad dude.
Posse.
Right, I'm gonna hire a posse.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about this person you're going to. Who's the leader of this notorious bad gang?
This
Rattling Pete McKinley.
No,
that son of a bitch.
that would make further interaction untenable. If the first thing I did was hire your nemesis in the entire campaign, as opposed to hiring you. So I'm gonna go to. I happen to know, as part of my thing, that there's just a rather low level group of sort of wandering bandits, and because you know what, maybe we want to do a scene where I learn about the bandits being in town from my reporter friend Daryl. That's an option.
Yeah, and if you wanted to set the stage for that, certainly Daryl making a spirit roll would be a thing. To like bring that into the world as a thing.
Okay.
Well, if he fails, do we just dead end here then?
No, it means it's going to be way worse than what you were hoping it was.
Oh, okay. But oof. How's your spirit, Virgil? Oh, it's good. Yeah. You want to make a spirit roll to see if you know about the fact that some bandits have come into town that nobody knows?
Roll 5D.
So let's start with the scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
do we maybe have someone playing on an old timey piano, like? Do
I have a house?
It pans across the middle of this town, and you hear.
Maybe like the first scene is a James Bond style, completely unrelated segue of like two guys gunfighting outside of wherever you're having a conversation in.
No. So Arthur, do I have a home? How do we determine that?
I mean, if you want to have a house here, you can.
Yeah. So I want to have a home that I've purchased to be my as nice of a home as I can to make a statement, where I could host people, not like parties, but like small gatherings, tea and such.
Okay.
Is this also where us as your associates live?
We're Dante Fioring some more. Got it. The similarity between the characters is becoming uncanny.
There's probably a cellar that also just happens to open out into the back alley.
The service entrance, of course.
Where people wouldn't happen to see that my associates happen to be some no good folks. And I've invited Daryl, that I've already had some interactions with, and I've invited him over for a drink and a smoke.
So we literally are listening to like pew outside the house as two people are shooting at each other. And maybe there's a lot of shouting where someone's like, "Oh, get that goddamn murder there!" And the two of you are inside having maybe cigars and drinks,
like warm whiskey,
yeah,
because there's no ice cubes.
It's rough. It's a hard life.
It's a hard life.
Sitting in a lounge chair drinking warm whiskey.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hart. I know you prefer a cold drink, and who doesn't? But accommodations being what they are, this is the best I can do out here.
Well, I understand it's a rough place, so we get by what we can.
Are you enjoying your cigar? I have spent quite a bit to get what I am told is rather nice.
Yes, actually, it's been quite a while since I've had a good cigar, since the last shipment got jumped by some bandits. Pretty probably make a pretty penny flipping a couple cigars if you have a few more.
Well, Mr. Hart, that's actually a piece of news that I was rather interested in. You see, being new in town, I feel somewhat vulnerable and ill-informed. I hear that there might be a new bandit group in town, and seeing as you're a reporter and all, I figured you might have the inside scoop.
I do have lots of flapping lips in my direction quite often.
So let's throw down a spirit roll. Did you just roll? Let's talk about traits. I feel like you definitely have traits that apply to this.
Boy, hold on a second. Virgil, you've got traits.
Oh, yeah. I better be able to add something.
Yeah, because
that's ridiculous.
All right, so if you're new to the Mistborn system, you need to make a pair of dice between 1 to 5. Virgil needs to aim to get a pair of 3s here.
Yeah,
6s are used to either negate consequences if you fail or give you bonuses if you succeed. So if Virgil eventually succeeds, that will be a fucking incredible roll. And if he doesn't, he's not going to suffer any consequences.
Wild West Reporter, Spout Lore, both apply, I think.
Yeah, and you'll definitely take at least 2.
Can you think of any other way to fit in Mustachioed?
No. I think Mustachioed will come across if it's like people remembering me and stuff.
I don't think. Yeah. Anything else? Maybe.
Also,
maybe
physical appearance is weird for a conjurer.
Maybe it's because I've got this funny feeling that despite this guy being a little bit backhanded, that he's going somewhere and might actually be worthy to be a person to spread the Pathian way.
I mean, I am a mover and shaker in the political and business field.
Yeah.
So the thing to remember is that humanity is of ruin. And so when you look for humans, you're looking for those that destroy, not for those that create.
Okay, well maybe maybe I think he was a balancing force. Like, so I'm really thinking back on everything I've heard. So can I get seek worthiness? And I'm like, this is
no. I mean, that would be if it was for him, not for this group.
Okay.
I will give you the 2 additional dice for Spout Lore and Wild West Reporter, certainly.
Give me a 5, baby. Come on, roll 20. I love you.
Or just 2 of the same number.
No. He gave me 5, exactly like I asked for, but I didn't specify.
You didn't specify correctly.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean,
6s. This bastard system.
you have heard of a particular gang. Tell us more about it.
I dare anyone to roll a better 5d6. Fuck me.
That's a
Almost
pretty
all
good.
6s.
I mean, that's a really good amount of 6s,
Pair
but
of 2s wouldn't have succeeded. At least it's
but
a pair.
yeah, I mean, the pair of 2s really does beat that many 6s. So.
Yeah.
That's why this system is hot. No, I'm not gonna
No.
say it. It's a great narrative system. I love it.
The dice give you just bad luck when you should have good luck.
Tell us about this gang.
So I'm like, well, they're not friendly at all. Someone asked me if I was gonna go ask some questions, and when I started poking my nose around, someone threatened to break my camera.
So I take it they're rather secretive sort, not the kind to let any particular piece of information get out. That's very interesting, Mr. Hart.
Well, maybe I was just talking to a drunk asshole.
There are quite a few drunk assholes out in this city, I've noticed.
I think the camera probably zooms in on Beaumont as he says that. It like does a tight frame of his face.
Finishes his whiskey. Just throws the glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck me. It's like drunk assholes can't stand them. Like, look, there's plenty of people to ask questions to. I just don't suggest we head back to the saloon. They didn't take too friendly. But maybe we go talk to some of the victims, see if we can get some more information.
Wow, that's Mr. Hart, I do believe you are proposing a rather interesting night on the town. If I have a horse and carriage, does that mean I have a driver, or do I have to also have
Yeah, it's got a driver. Comes with.
All right.
Comes with some driver.
So, I'm going to call the horse and carriage round, and then when they're ready, I'm going to invite Daryl Hart for our little excursion where we're going to try and find out more information about this particular group of bandits.
Now, since this is the pilot episode, do we see Flint like suspiciously following you guys around and he's not introduced yet? Like
Yes.
maybe we literally see him coin shotting his way over the town where he like drops a coin and he pushes on it and flies through the air and he follows your carriage
And we
through the
think
town.
he's, like, the audience thinks he's like with the bandit group and going to do something to us, but then it
well, no,
turns out
like
that
here's
I've
how I frame it.
already paid him to be my bodyguard,
Like
and that's why he's doing this.
Like the scene where the two people were shooting each other in the like town square resolves.
One guy dies and then it pans up and the guy who shot him is
away, and it pans up like over the city, and then you see a shadowy figure standing on a rooftop, like watching the carriage.
It literally makes the hawk attacking noise. Like, and zooms in on your eyes.
Don't you go revealing my secrets.
Jesus.
Bury that post. Delete it.
We literally have Aristotle fan art already to make the most anime character living. Let's throw that down there.
It's pretty anime.
Yes.
Yep. That's Flick Carson, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube,
That's
check
perfect. I love it.
That's actually
good.
straight out of my.
So that's what we see when we look up on the top of this building, watching them get in the carriage. We see this mysterious, banditoed figure with his gun out, watching them, and everyone's like, oh, this must be one of the bandits. It's a bad guy. But we never realized they're all bad guy.
All right. So I summon the driver around and we get in the carriage. And I take it that the way that Mr. Hart framed that conversation, he has a particular idea of how, he wants us to go talk to some victims to see if we can't track down the bandits.
Yeah, and I'm just like, everyone's willing to open their mouths a little wider and gap a little longer when they think there might be a news story involved. We'll get them to spill the beans. And we're going to head to the tobacconist because he lost his shipment of
good cigars.
Good cigars.
Okay. Yeah, you get to the tobacco shop, and it would look like a Native American to us. It'd be super racist. Like a Native American with like a headdress, but the sign is a Kolos-blooded person. So it's like a blue-skinned, huge person with like a gigantic Koloss size, so it's literally the size of someone's fist cigar that they're smoking.
That's amazing.
And it's like good wampum here, or, super racist.
I love everything about this.
And you get inside, and the owner is this extremely tiny human man. He's like 4'9", very pale, looks very neurotic. Like he's wiping down the counters and he's twitching while it's happening. And you can see that a lot of his stock is not there. Like it's visible that it'll say like Elendil Blue, and there won't be anything in that display case. It'll just be like some ashes.
I walk in.
Gentlemen, how can I help you?
I tip my hat and I say,
welcome to the Good Wampum.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Mr. Beaumont, and this is my associate, Mr. Hart. We've heard that you've run into a bit of a rough patch recently, and we would like to help and get your story for the papers, perhaps.
Oh wow, that's real nice of y'all. You sound like a good alloy there.
Yeah, wow, this all these empty display cases, it's quite dramatic. I might want to get a shot of that. It really sells that the problem is affecting the everyday man like yourself.
This is such a
So yeah, are you setting up your camera?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like turning away from that, and he's trying to get you to look at his like quality goods and like price list and the giant logo in the background. He's trying to do free advertising here.
I'm getting the tragedy of humanity all in this frame. Look at these empty cases.
Sir, are you sure you want
Like
to get
a
this?
sad poem.
I think a really good story would be maybe struggling shopkeeper overcomes adversity through good pricing and
I don't believe
smart.
I got your name, sir.
The name's Lothal. Brent
Mr.
Lothal.
Now, I am a businessman myself, and not that I want to give you unwarranted advice or anything, but the people out here are good people, and if they saw your empty shelves as a result of this poor misfortune, I think they would feel compelled to do their business here in the future to make amends for such tragedy.
I'm afraid I didn't catch your name, gentlemen.
I'm
which
Mr.
newspaper
Beaumont,
did you say you were with?
and this is Mr. Hart, my associate with the press.
Oh, can I have a press thing?
Yeah.
It's like
you got a press card.
Yes.
My associate is actually a freelancer.
Oh, I see. Well,
that means
and
that the more
who are you again, Mr. Beaumont?
My name is Dixon Beaumont, and I'm new in town, and I'm just a simple
you a deputy,
businessman
sir?
from the South. I'm a businessman from the South. I also consider myself a community activist.
Oh, that's right proper of you, sir.
I was raised right, and I feel it's only right that the fortunate among us help serve the misfortunate, and that's why we're here today.
So as you set up like to look at the desolate, empty shop things, he's like trying to look as sorrowful as possible. He's like leaning up against something and like looking at the display cases.
Okay, so
totally hamming it up.
I'm like, yes, this is going to be a pretty good shot. I mean, I'm going to have to get something really, really grabby unless we have a beautiful story. We could also get maybe you standing outside your shop with the name real big in the picture. So
he's like, yeah, no, that sounds great.
Now,
like, or here, or maybe out there.
What was his name again?
Brent Lothal.
Lothal. Mr. Lothal, I am looking for new investments in the area. Perhaps we could bookend this story at the end with local entrepreneur promises to revitalize Big Wampum.
Big Wampum. Yeah.
Get a picture of me shaking your hand out front.
I feel like this is definitely going to be a wits to wits roll here. Right?
Sure.
I mean, you're trying to convince him to trust you.
I'm gonna call on 4 traits for that.
That would be suspicious, but it is possible you have that many to throw down.
Wealthy landowner, civilized. I'm gonna say natural leader because I'm trying to lead him to. I'm trying to take the initiative with him and be like, this is how we can get you back on your feet. And
but he's not. He doesn't belong to you. I don't think natural leader's going to work there.
I don't know. I disagree because they don't need to belong to me to lead.
I mean, he's not like under your leadership.
Yeah, he's not under your leadership. You have to convince him of that first.
All right. Well, then I'm also gonna. Then I only call on 3 because
conniving will work here.
This is totally conniving.
Yeah. So he's gonna call on deal maker and guild backing for sure.
Okie doke.
That looks like paired ones.
Yep. It's like 4.
So. That's right. I don't even have to type this out. I got my little dice roller here. Does the formula for me. Bloop, 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 bloop. Paired 4s with a nudge.
Because Arthur has his API hacks.
Yeah,
so
I pay extra money every.
ones.
Listen, as Roll20's first Twitch ambassador, and I feel like
he pulls that card like.
It
like
means he's got
twice a
API
month at least.
hacks, SciFri. Let's not even.
Roll20's Twitch ambassador program is great for aspiring streamers.
Yeah.
We want to show off the varied ways you can use Roll20 in the macro system like we just did, and interact with the virtual tabletop to the extent that we have been all stream. Really, have you considered supporting Roll20? For only $9.99 a month, you too can have access to the API, character sheets.
I'll
they
start
don't even
supporting
have
them when they start supporting me.
That's not a feature.
I mean, I don't suppose, Arthur, that I come into the game with stored metal mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
your metal mine should start completely filled.
Our metal mines start completely filled?
Yeah.
Use your luck. Can you do it now still? Is it too late?
You have to do it before the result is revealed, so now is the time to do it before I'm like, and that's how you fail horribly.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
So I will spend 40 then, which is my maximum, to reroll all my 1s.
So are you compounding or are you just drawing directly from it? Because if you compound, it's going to be real obvious because you're going to have to be like,
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm drawing from my fully stored metal mines.
Okay, you can now re-roll 4 dice.
All right, and I'm going to do that.
We need to be clear here. Which 4 are you re-rolling?
Yeah,
all 4 ones, really? Okay, you could come away with no pairs from this then, just to be clear.
Which would make things worse.
Well, that's actually theoretically impossible. You have 6 dice. You can never come away with no pairs. No, you could. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Well,
you could come away from this with no pairs. It's possible. Super unlikely.
2, a 4, a 6, and a 1, and then 2, 4, 6. Yeah, that's unlikely. And so I can really only.
Don't stop talking about it. Stop talking about it, please.
So now I have.
A nudge. That's much better.
I've improved things to a pair of 2s
and a nudge
and a nudge.
Okay.
Which is better.
So you take 2 complications, which is reduced to 1.
All right.
Things are going to go his way during this talk.
Okay.
And so you're trying to convince him that you investing in him would be a great idea, right?
Great story.
And so he's just like, well, I think you make a real good case there, but, I'm with the guild. I'd have to have my union rep take a good look at your finances. I don't suppose you'd send your banking information to me? Have them take a good look at you?
Absolutely, Mr. God damn it, fucking
Brett Lothal
of the Hill people.
Absolutely, Mr. Lothal. Here, why don't you take my card, and our people will be in touch.
So yeah, he looks over the card, and the complication here is that someone is looking into you, and the nudge is that someone is probably going to be extremely competent.
All right, that's fine, because at present, there's nothing wrong with my finances. That'll change.
It's not your finances that they'll be specifically looking into, right?
Might be the company you keep.
The thing he's saying is finances, but what he really means is you.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
So I want to just like lean on like the counter and be like, well, it's a perfect time of day to get pictures. So we might as well get busy, right? But I'm gonna need some more details about these bandits that I'm writing about.
Yes, of course. Now that's Lothal with only 1 L. The second L would be silent. It's just not there. Lothal.
Big Wampum. Is that all capital letters?
It's good wampum. Good wampum. It is all capitals, yes, and we prefer to use the papyrus font.
All right, excellent. And now all the
We're attacked by a
information
man named Brieger. It was real bad. I heard the railway just several of the coachmen were talking about him. Big fella, real horrendous, like horrible scars on his face. Koloss blooded, you hear? They say he's got gold hanging off him, like some sort of Koloss savage.
gold chain gangster.
Yeah, he's got
loss.
Got like 14 boys to follow him around on horses, if you'll believe that. What kind of man uses horses in this day and age? Ridiculous. He like looks outside at his
can I
extremely
both look out
to our
Didn't
horse.
you guys take the carriage though?
Yeah, you took the carriage, but his like
carriage is
automobile is parked
horseback.
outside. His like steam automobile.
Oh,
They can't be that common out here, Arthur. Seriously.
Right.
Surely.
I mean, but this guy is kind of an asshole if you haven't picked that up yet.
I picked it up. Yep.
Okay.
That is a fine. Arthur, can I make like a? I guess I don't really need to make a check for this. Can I just like identify the model of his car?
Yep.
And be like, oh, that is a fine Model S that you have there, sir. Absolutely work of art.
the Blord Model S, the first.
It would probably be named after one of the characters from the original Mistborn books.
It's just like the Ford logo, but it's
yeah,
just
but
Lord.
it's called
the Model S.
It's
for
the
the Survivor.
Goradel Model S, of course.
Of course.
It's called the Gord.
We were gonna name it after one of the characters of the original. I was gonna submit the Ham.
No, it's the Goradel because Captain Goradel. He's
Okay,
the
so-
guard that helped Vin get out.
I will pretend to take a picture of this man in front of his establishment.
I mean, how much pretending can there be? You got to use the flash photography, right? So
I mean, everything
just
but
likes
actually
the
using
pan, but he doesn't
using the
picture.
film.
wow,
which is,
that's really unusually cruel. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to waste a picture. I'm not going to make an
I
article.
feel
about
like
this
you
guy.
have to make a
1,000
roll to do
words.
this as like a very simple difficulty 1 deception roll for him to just not notice that you're about to.
I mean, you say that it's simple, but really the odds of getting any pair are equal. So one is just as unlikely as any.
No, because if I get
Because if you get better,
Any odds above one succeed, which is why that's not the case. But what I'm trying to argue here is
it's pretty simple.
what did you say the roll would be?
Difficulty 1.
But
It
what do
would
I
be
use?
wit because you're trying to deceive him.
Ooh, brutal.
I
But I'm
mean,
definitely not going to waste precious.
I mean,
precious
Wild
gold on
West
this guy.
Reporter is definitely going to work in your favor there.
I think
You could also if you could probably use spout lore if you wanted to tell him about the make and model of your camera.
wiggle your mustache to distract him.
that
No,
always
I
works
will
with
accept
bonus.
spout lore if you do attempt to do exactly what he said.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him about the chemicals used to make the flash.
So he spends the whole time looking at the flash and doesn't notice you don't take
Yeah.
the plate out.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lens cap.
He's like, oh man, I was looking right at it when you took it. Was that a good one? Did it
You
look
know, I
good?
think him looking directly into the light when it flashes is a concept.
5d6 SD. Okay, let's go. Come on.
One pair. It's got to have one
Yep,
pair.
you did it.
Pair of fours.
Big
Crushed it.
numbers right there.
Crushed it.
That's a full house.
Never didn't have it.
Nazi.
Yeah, so he's looking directly into the light when it flashes and is blinded. Doesn't notice that you don't care, and there's enough time for like you and Beaumont to just share like what a fucking moron moment. While he's like,
You look at each other and shrug like, oh, this guy.
whoa.
Like, all right, beautiful. Oh, you.
Now remember, that's Lothal with only one L. There's no L at the end. It's just
Now, Mr. Lothal, I'm going to be further looking into this unfortunate bandit problem, but I will get back to you about our little business
The
arrangement.
article's going to be
in the future.
completely different. It'll be Lothal with 2 L's, big wampum, instead of good wampum.
I thought this was GameStop. What is Great Stop? Play Stop. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys are getting in the carriage and driving away now?
Yeah, and I've promised that I will get back to him later.
I'm curious, Flint. Where are you during all of this, and what are you doing? Are you still menacing? I want you to be on camera at some point. So
yeah, I definitely want to come in the next scene. I don't know if that's.
Are you the one that goes to do the negotiations, maybe on behalf of your boss?
Well, that would really give me.
Yeah, I would. You'd have to get in there and talk, but then Wreckage could make a influence role through you.
Actually, if I was doing it on behalf of my boss, I might be able to call on walking in another man's shoes.
No, that's more like, I think walking in another man's shoes is not that one.
Like whenever you do something you don't normally do?
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah. Something out of the ordinary.
Anyway, have we actually done enough to find their location?
Yeah. I don't think it'll be that hard to find Brieger.
Yeah, now that we have a name and he's a big...
Yep. So why don't
I have like a short scene of like us like meeting up shortly before the negotiations?
Yeah. How about
can it be super tense? Like you drop out of the sky before them and you reach for your gun and everyone's like,
I've got the perfect setup. It's me and Daryl and we're back in my drawing room. I'm like, Mr. Hart, if you'll just excuse me, there's a matter that needs my attention. And I walk out back and I leave through the servants' quarters into that alley, that obscured alley behind my house. And I like light a cigarette or something, which is our signal. And Flint drops down next to me in the alley.
Yeah. So you hear like the flapping of like a duster as like a drop
and the ping
down.
of a coin, right?
Ping of a coin drops by your feet. Yeah.
Mr. Carson, flashy as ever. I do appreciate your zest for the dramatic. Would you like a smoke?
He shakes his head no and is like, I trust your negotiations with Mr. Hart went well.
You could say that. We have a name. I need you to make a business proposal on the behalf of an unnamed benefactor to this, what was his name that we found out?
Brieger?
To this Brieger and his band of bandits. For my next little move, I'm going to need some more diversified and far removed from myself muscle, if you understand what I mean.
I rightly understand. Hopefully Brieger and his boys don't give me too much trouble.
Well, I'm sure you'll give them more trouble than they're expecting if they do. You make this offer, right. You make this offer on behalf of your unknown benefactor, and I think that they will see that it is within their best interest to accept this little business proposal.
Yeah, sure. So, like, you hand me, like, a paper, like a sealed envelope or something?
This is the details of the deal, basically, so that we don't have to get too bogged down in it.
It's the briefcase from Pulp Fiction. You open it up and people look inside, and they're either like, this is really impressive, or they're like, well, this isn't enough money.
Yeah, exactly.
So Flint takes like the proposal or whatever, the proposal parchment or whatever, and he's like, I'm not as quick with the tongue as you are, but I can make a delivery.
Simple words here will suffice. I think the numbers speak for themselves and the simplicity of the job. If they require more complex negotiations, then they're not the men for us anyway. We don't want them to know too much, of course. And I imagine with that...
Are you sending also like a copy of the land, the
false land claim?
This is just the business deal, and we will hand wave the fact that we have further clandestine communications.
Yeah, this is the initial outreach of like our business relationship.
So I think the start of the next scene is Flint Carson walking down this road. There's a number of dilapidated buildings here that have
is there a tumbleweed?
Yeah, there's not just a tumbleweed, but there's also the glass is knocked out of a bunch of these things. There's signs that only have like one. They're both hanging up from iron rings, but one of the rings is loose. Yeah, and so the signs are hanging.
Now I'm hearing flapping on the soundtrack. Are there a bunch of doves that John Woo as we slow?
Yeah, as he walks slowly. There's dogs barking, like wild dogs in the street. The kind of dogs you'd see in a dogfighting ring.
Yeah.
outside of Brieger's Butchery and Beef, where two guys are like doing the thug squatting next to a pair of horses, and there's a man on the roof behind. So it's like a giant sign that says Brieger's Butchery and Beef, and there's a guy on the roof with a long rifle, just like soldier marching around.
God, you have the fucking walking happen just then. Wow, this soundtrack's beautiful.
I'm great. It's not like I timed this or anything.
So you like, I guess the camera like pans to look at Flint's reaction, and his eyes are just like darting around while his hands are in his pockets. Probably one hand near his like gun holster.
As you get closer, you approach the alleyway beside Brieger's Butchery and Beef. There's a dead person in the alleyway with fucking crows picking them apart. And occasionally someone like one of the thugs out front will like look back there and spit on him with some tobacco-laden spit and then turn back to the street. The second one turns to look at you.
Big sombrero poncho, just sleeping.
Yeah, and is like, you lost?
Sort of looks and he's like, he rubs his chin a bit. He looks up and he's like, I have a message for Mr. Brieger.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
It's a business proposal.
Uh-huh.
Someone I think he'll like.
Yeah, I think that we'll be the judge of that. And the first guy is like reaching for his gun holster, and he's like, "You fast, dog? You fast?" You hear the like slow click as he pulls the revolver handle. It's still in the holster, but like,
Can I?
You fast?
Can I tap steel charges?
What do you want to do?
I want to.
I mean, I can't say no to that. You can tap all the steel you want.
Move real close to him, and also pull my gun out.
Oh, we have a second Flint fan art already from Big Super X. I haven't seen Mike in a really long time, but yeah, a very different, darker look on Flint.
Let me look.
Oh, that's Night in the wilderness, ready to kill a man.
Yeah, that's like Dark Flint.
Where did you post it?
I'll put it in Roll20 as well. There you go.
Oh, that's freaking cool, man.
I like how he's mad dog in the camera.
Awesome.
He's like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
I feel like that literally sets a scene right here where Flint is like, yeah,
Well,
I am fast.
I wanna like have my gun like at my side like that and be like up close to his face with like one of my hands on his shoulder and just be like, faster than you.
Okay, so you're gonna tap steel to make a speed roll to get a hand on his shoulder and prevent him from drawing his gun before you can do it.
And
okay.
I want to call on quick on the draw as well.
Sounds like he's not.
Let's look
dramatic
at
flair and
dramatic
reckless.
flair and reckless.
before we get to the traits. We need to, and it's weird because normally you wouldn't get to call on a bunch of things for this, but you're not making a metals roll. You're making a speed roll.
Yeah, how many charges?
Okay, for every charge you tap, you gain 1 die for a physique roll involving physical speed or response time.
So then you do physique, you get the die, and you get the traits.
So you could call on at least 4, right? Because you have a rating of 4.
That's 8 dice, and then 3 traits you can easily call on. That's 11 dice. So 1 nudge and 10 dice.
Let's set it up first. How many charges of steel are you going to use?
4, so I'm down to 96 out of 100.
All right. You have 4 physique dice.
Yes.
All right. What traits would you like to call upon? Quick on the draw will work here.
Quick on the draw, dramatic flair, and reckless.
Yes. You have 11 dice. All right. And I need to go get this bandit stats. Who knew I'd need a bandit so easily? Yeah, he's got 6 dice. He's also got beat it out of them. So I'll take that. That's 7 dice. And you have a automatic nudge, right? Because you have 11 dice?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Ten
So
dice and a nudge.
this is not for damage. Let's be clear here. This is a contest. This isn't swinging for damage.
This
so
is
this
how
is just
much I persuade him to let me through, basically.
paired 4s. So you better
Let's see if
roll
I can beat
real
this.
good.
He bait him.
No.
Pair of 3s with 2.
Paired 3s. A lot of dice
This
with 2.
system is
Well, there's no complications. You don't succeed. But there's no complications, so it looks real good.
I do move fast.
Yeah, so here's the deal.
It just doesn't phase him.
You get your hand on him as he's got the gun out of the holster, but it's only pointing at your foot. And he's looking at you. He's like, well, it looks like you are real fast, just not fast enough. Man, that fast. But he's an important fella. And he, like, taps your crotch with the gun. And he's like, maybe you want to take your hand off me, boy.
Sure, I walked back a couple steps, and he's like, no, I don't want no trouble. I'm just here to deliver a message.
I feel like for some reason I really want to have this guy do the revolver thing where he spins the barrel and then clicks it back into place just to have that noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the second man is like, I don't know. Man like you could be a lot of trouble coming up here. I'll tell you what, we'll let you inside if you give us your gun. We'll just hold on to it for you. I don't think you'll need it, will you? Man as fast as you. And I think they both laugh at that like, ha ha ha, fast but not fast enough.
Maybe if your players ever succeeded at a
So
roll.
he like holds his gun in both hands like that, looking at it. He twirls the chamber himself a little, and he's like, now, gentlemen, you can't just ask a boy to part with his gun. This has sentimental value.
And that's when you hear from the rooftop, the guy with the long rifle's like, and is like, I think I can ask you whatever I want, boy. If they're telling you to hand over the firearm, I suggest you do it immediately.
I'll go ahead. It's a prop. You'll get back.
He sort of grits his teeth.
Oh, you know what it is? It's one of those cowboy action rifles. So it's one of those ones where you like point it full. Yeah, it's a lever action. And he's done like the lever to load it in, and now he's pointing it over the top of the roof. He's leaning down like a cool guy.
So Flint looks up at the dude on the roof with the gun, looks down at the ground.
This music is so good.
He grits his teeth, spits at the ground, and sticks the gun out like handle first. Like,
all right. Yeah, one of the guys snatches your gun and then like unloads all the bullets and puts one in and just starts Russian relaying it, like spinning it, checking to see if it was the one that would have been pulled. Doing that over and over again.
It only has 4 chambers.
Yeah.
He's rolling 25% chance.
Well, I mean, he's not pulling the trigger. He's just rolling it, snapping it in place, and then checking to see if that would have been the one, and then doing it again.
Yeah.
And so as you enter the butcher shop with heavy footfalls on the wood, we hear them outside, and the first guy's like, "Never seen a gun this nice out here," and the other guy's like, "What type of gun do you have?"
It's a Styrian 36.
So the other guy is just like, this is Styrian, boy. Ain't seen nothing like that outside of Elendil. When you enter the butcher shop,
really nice gun, and it probably has a story.
It's like chains hanging from the ceiling randomly for no fucking reason. It very much looks like an old-style Inquisition warehouse where they would kill people. It's very reminiscent of the scene in the mines. Just like random hunks of beef bleeding out in like the floor display area. And this enormous 6.5 foot tall, blue-blooded, blue-skinned Koloss man with a giant fucking Van Dyke is just 2 enormous machete like butcher knives instead of one giant Koloss sword. And those are like the airplane wing swords that they wield. He instead dual wields like giant fucking butcher's knives. And he like slams them both on the table and is like, "What do you need, boy?"
What was his name again?
Brieger.
So he just puts his hands in his pockets. He's not making eye contact.
Yeah, when you do that, Brieger immediately like picks one of the knives up. It's like, you want to take your hands out of those pockets real slow.
Sure, he puts them up. He's like, don't worry there, Mr. Brieger. You're a man outside.
It's just Brieger.
Fair enough, Brieger.
And he brings his hand down real slow.
Sure.
What's your business here? I'm sensing you ain't the man who comes to me for a hunk of beef.
I represent one Dixon Beaumont.
No, don't use my.
Too
I
late.
said anonymous. No, don't too late me there, Arthur.
No.
I gave him specific instructions.
He forgot. He's.
You know what? Instead of this, I will allow you to make a spirit roll, since that's exactly what these are for.
Sure.
Spirit rolls allow you to change one detail of a scene that's already been established.
Wreckage making the spirit roll?
No, it's you, because you're the one who made the mistake.
All right. So wait, I'm like, time slows down. I'm like,
You have to spend your. Oh shit.
Oh,
Nope.
And that's 1 point of spirit spent.
Surely
Yeah,
you should let me make that roll. I protest.
It's too late.
Your spirit is worse than mine.
Yes, but I get my chromium.
Also, your rolls are terrible.
Yeah.
My basic
general.
chromium powers to have more dice in a spirit roll.
Yeah, he
But
can
anyway,
add.
So I guess he continues making the flub up.
Yeah, you're like Beaumont, and then maybe you're like,
Yeah.
shit.
Beaumont is Sosorin and Tura.
I never heard of no man called Beaumont.
He's new in town, and he comes with a mighty fine business proposal for you.
Uh-huh.
I
What's his
think you'll find
business?
it to your liking. It's all simple like and quite lucrative.
So he like puts he left hands, puts one of the things on his shoulder and is like, "You presume to tell me what it is I would and would not like, sir?"
Well, sir, I seem to believe that any man would like this deal.
Well, unless that deal is him coming over and scratching my balls for me, I'm not sure you can make that assumption.
So do I like have the envelope?
So he's doing like the sarcastic style of like cordialness, where it's just like, by the way, I can match you word for word, cause fuck you.
Yeah, right. So I guess he just pulls the like envelope out of like one of the pockets of his duster.
Yeah. So you're gonna need to spend 1 point of resources there, Dixon, and you need to just make a 1 on this roll. And I believe for every extra nudge, you get another extra, and that's like a extra named character you can add to this if you want to.
All right. I would like to call on some traits for the roll then.
Okay.
Wealthy, landowner.
Sure.
Conniving, and honest way ain't the easy way.
Don't know that honest way ain't the easy way is the one to throw in here. I'll take
I am
everything else.
planning on
being dishonest and in a hard situation.
Yeah, that's what you're hiring them to do, but that's not how you're hiring them. You're being fairly straightforward with him so far. You're like, yeah, we need you to go do this thuggish thing.
Sure, that's fine. Fair enough. I accept your.
It's the thuggish, ruggish bone.
Yeah.
Pair of 5s, a nudge, 4s.
Okay.
Can I?
Yep. You have 6 or more dice, so you can attempt this. Blah blah blah. Each nudge can be used to boost the number of soldiers by 50%.
Anything else?
Nope.
Can I use that nudge to make it so that he is a type of person who wouldn't repeat my name?
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, you pass
Flub
this.
unflubbed, SciFri.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, so he might not go around town spreading your name, but if he gets captured and in a bad spot, he might snitch on you.
Oh, just see to it.
But it's not like he's gonna walk around town and be like, "You hear? Beaumont hired us, boys. We're gonna go right out and beat this old lady up for Beaumont. Beaumont, Beaumont, Beaumont."
Well, so if he got captured and strong-armed anyway, like he would be like saying, "We got hired to knock over this old lady." Like even then, it gets back to me. So if someone's actually twisting his arm, all I'm worried about is loose tongues.
Yeah, loose tongues are no longer a problem for you here.
Nice.
All right, so you have until the next long breather. You have Brieger plus 20 thugs as a piece of equipment that you can use.
Do we want to just quickly roleplay how he accepts? I don't know if he could do something cool with that, or how he accepts or talks to.
I think he just looks at the letter, like he opens the letter, and maybe there's like a big dollar amount on it, and he's just like, "Sounds good."
Yeah.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's like looking it over, and it's all this. Maybe it's like multiple pages where you're like, "We need you to beat up an old woman." He's just like, boring, boring, boring dollar amount. All right, I'm good.
Yeah. Then there's like, I guess the cutaway from that scene is like a very angry Flint Carson grabbing his revolver back from the goons.
Oh no, Aerocyto is spamming us with fan art. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
How could this happen to
How
me?
could this happen? All right,
Oh,
we got
he
the
added the
corrected with added duster.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, I look like Revolver Ocelot, dude.
You look like young Revolver Ocelot too. You look like Metal Gear Solid 5 Revolver Ocelot.
Yes.
You don't look like shitty Metal Gear Solid 3 low res Ocelot, and you don't look like old man Ocelot.
This is the greatest handgun ever made.
We get it.
Boss.
that runs out faster
to
than
reload
it's
during battle.
Yeah, he's like, I love the way it feels when you load a greased bullet into the chamber, slamming it in hard.
You're like,
Oh my god, Aerocyto.
That's
how much do you enjoy that? Just how much?
I mean,
Are
he
you
makes a
enjoying that,
ton of
really?
innuendos during that fight.
Anyway, so we're all back together.
Are we all? So what is our next scene now? He gets the instructions, which we can hand wave. The instructions are the first thing he needs to do is, like, I've sent him this false claim. He needs to strong arm McFanny's property and say, you know, the Brieger boys are going to take over this land now. We got this claim. And I tell him, you don't need to succeed, mind you. You just need to threaten and make her feel like you could take her land.
All right, so I'm going to make a roll for both sides of this. I could just hand wave it, but I'm actually curious as to how this turns out.
So, I mean, if she was like, okay, take the land, then we would legit just have the land, right?
It's going to be how the initial confrontation plays out. So he has physique 7, and he gets an extra 2 dice to rolls involving physical strength, which he's displaying. So he gets 9 dice to start with. Fearsome reputation. We'll go into this. So he has 10 dice, which sounds pretty goddamn good. Pair of 5s. That's going to be hard to beat. And she is one of those things. So she is defending with her influence. So she has, well, not initially, right? Because this is just people rolling up on her. So it's physique 3, and then she has cutthroat, domineering, land grabber, rivals everywhere. So that bumps her up to 7. And she'll take a bonus die for all of her ranch hands helping defend with her. So 8. She needs paired 5s, and she gets 2. So it goes very poorly for old lady McFanny.
Look, I'm just happy when, for some reason, when the winning roll is a higher number added up together. That I don't know why that makes me feel better.
It's a lot higher for the 10d6, like significant, almost 3 times. Yeah, so we get like, the next scene is literally just like a newspaper report, perhaps, but the authorship
Perhaps
is
I told my friend
Daryl Hart.
There would be an interesting story in a particular part of town on this day that he could perhaps catch wind of.
So on the outskirts of the town, we catch the photographic snap of Brieger and his 20 boys riding in on horses and just destroying fencing. They're letting cows out into, like, the general area. Brieger's literally, like, chopping their heads off. So that's the scene, right? That's the picture. Is Brieger in one swipe chopping a cow's head off. It's flying through the air.
I'd like that, like, we get the picture, right, and then it's like on the newspaper, and like what's your name? No one changed their names on the thing.
Old lady McFanny.
No. Dixon is, like, reading the paper, like, back in his thing. Like, I've gone ahead.
Excellent, y'all. Excellent.
So he's got the news, like, from me through the newspaper.
So we get the scene of so the newspaper comes up like it's a graphic, right? And then all of a sudden we twist out and that's our transition.
And we're back at home base.
And Dixon's smoking a cigar and he says, "Bring the driver around. I have to have a conversation with Mrs. McFanny." And then it's like cut to black intermission. Like that would be the part where there was the intermission in a like old-timey Western movie.
Western.
Yeah. It's like,
Then we come back from intermission.
Okay, so what is the plan now? You are heading to old lady McFanny's farm ranch. Okay, so this place is not a farm like we would think of it in an American farm. It's more like a hacienda made out of wood. It's like breezy and open.
Or just Beaumont?
I can bring Hart, but I don't associate with you openly.
Ah, I see.
I thought he was the one you were going to bring in to solve all your problems. Your little Swifty to... Yeah, he's like the guy that stands down the bandits at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, but until then, like he will make his debut doing that. So I will invite Mr. Hart as he covered the story, and might want to get a follow-up interview.
yeah.
And I will bring Mr. Hart along on my carriage to the property of McFanny. And I will perhaps explain on the car ride, his most unfortunate turn of luck that she experienced. I will have to offer my condolences, and if I can help in any way, I will attempt to. I have some interesting thoughts along those lines. Mr. Hart, have you ever covered anything like this before?
Well, it's not uncommon around these parts, but normally, I would wait for something of more substance to come along. However, it's more of a personal piece if we can, get the point of view of the poor old woman and the nice gentleman that's helping her out of a tough spot.
Yes, that's most interesting. I feel that will be a splendid cover piece. I did like your work on the cover of the newspaper this morning.
It was a beautiful shot. The clarity of the blood flying off of the...
However, did you get so close during the chaos, Mr. Hart?
Oh, I'm fearless. So that's how I work.
Ain't that just so? And we eventually reach the...
So you get to the outskirts of old lady McFadden's property, and there's I'm going to say 20-something, blonde hair, blue eye, wearing like an open blazer, tight white shirt, blue jeans kind of ensemble, cowgirl, very, very busty. Not necessarily
huge tracts of land.
Yeah, I mean, just want to be clear here.
20-something.
And
the best use of that ever.
Very, very tanned, and obviously hardworking, cultish legs, just kind of like hammering posts back into place, and maybe there's a few ranch hands around shuttling the cattle back inside. It's clear that they're still fixing up the gate from when the boys came, Brieger and his boys. And she turns to you and is like, "Excuse me, sir. Can I ask who you are? This is private property."
I am Mr. Dixon Beaumont, and this is my associate, Daryl Hart from the papers.
Pleased to meet you, ma'am.
I've heard about your little trouble you had the other day, and I'm here to offer my assistance to old Mrs. McFanny.
Yeah, well, my grandmother ain't seeing folk right around now. You understand, like a heart condition kind of thing. As in, she'll probably rip yours out.
What a fascinating thing to say about your grandmother. Now, I'm here because I am I'm new in town, and I'm a bit of a what you might call an entrepreneur, and I feel community.
Mister, I'm sorry, I got a lot of work to do. Perhaps you should come back next week when we've got the cows home.
Well, sure, shooting that is something you have to do, but it seems like your grandmother is not currently occupied with repairing this fence, and I would be happy to speak with her.
And I'm trying to get a little bit more news for the paper, you see. I don't have a full story, and...
Yeah, we don't really read city papers out here, you know. They tend to be lying, thieving sons bitches, you know.
Well, I will say that the city is very fascinated in what has happened here, and there's quite a lot of sympathy being drummed up by Mr. Hart's reports on this matter. Something that could flow charity and generosity out back to the farm, so to speak.
I'm sorry, we're getting a little ahead of
ourselves. So she's just like,
"Your name is?"
"My name is Charity, sir. Charity Evelyn McFanny."
Well, ain't that just a lucky coincidence?
So I'd like to Give her like kind of like a flirty look and just be like, "Oh, Miss Charity, have you ever been photographed? You have quite the figure."
I mean, let's do this. It sounds like you're making a seduction roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mustachio definitely applies.
I mean, in order for that to apply, you have to narratively include it, right? Like, you got to be like, and then
no, I'm. Let's see here. It's not very old-fashioned of me to be wanting to take naked pictures.
I mean, taking picture. I mean, is that what you're offering? I thought you were just saying you were taking her picture, but are you going to paint her like one of your French girls now?
Yes. She's like one of my southern belles, actually, I was thinking.
Virgil's still joking. He's just going to take her.
Yeah. No. Wild West reporter. I don't think she likes reporters.
So is this I mean, it is charm. I'm almost wondering if it's resources. If you're like, I can get you in the paper kind of thing, or is this more you actually want to see her naked kind of butt stuff?
Yeah, I'm hoping that she like finds that exciting, and I can like pull her out of the way of the boss here. Do you want to change your name in Roll20?
Oh, sure.
I mean, you're just gonna change it back next week.
I know. That's
a whole week in the future.
We're only for another.
You don't work on that time.
Or another half an hour or less.
3.5 hours. Yeah, I can't remember 2 different names.
I mean, we never know. There could be another absence next week.
Yeah.
I could strangle SciFri in his crib.
I feel like I can call on Rugged and Hayseed here, and her charm. So, I'm sorry, it's not charm; it's a spirit roll. So she gets 5 dice.
Oh.
What do you got? Let's talk about your dice.
Spirit.
She defends with spirit. You attack with charm.
So
that's quite bad, actually.
I'm legitimately gonna have to get such a lucky roll because it's just 2d6, and I really don't feel like with such a.
You could definitely use.
As Kim say, this is like very.
You can. I mean, if you wanted to narratively change how you're approaching this, that would be fine.
I don't though.
Okay.
This is
all right. Then
like,
let's get risky then.
Yeah, but I think Mustachioed can apply, and I think Wild West Reporter does also apply.
Is this a swing for damage? Is this if you win, is the contest just you get the thing, or are you legitimately trying to break down her willpower so she'll be more receptive to you?
Yeah, I want to break down her willpower.
Okay, all right.
No, you don't. You just want to flirt with her. Well, okay.
Well, no, because then you can like.
I mean, he's just going to apply the burden heartbroken so that she'll have to smitten.
I don't believe Mr. Hart is the type of man to abandon a woman like this. I think they will go on to have quite a robust relationship.
No, we'll see how the pictures turn out is the main.
Paired ones with the 6.
Okay, so all I have to do is roll 2 dice and get a pair better than ones.
Or get a pair and multiple 6s to break it.
Okay, come on, 2 dice, give me a pair.
No. All right, so she counter
I can't
swings.
believe you didn't apply Mustachio to that. We said it would work.
Yeah, you can roll another die for Mustachio, definitely.
1 in 6 chance. 2 in 6 chance, actually.
What's going on
here? On this extra.
I like those middles too. 3, 4. That's good.
Nope.
No.
Nice.
There's a nudge though.
All right, so there's no complication to this, but you are going to take 2 points of willpower damage if she fucking breaks you. You're like, have you ever had your picture taken before? And maybe you leer at her a little bit, and she's just like,
she does.
You bring that camera on this yard, sir, I'm going to shove it so far up your keister, they aren't going to be able to find it until the next time Harmony breaks the world.
Yeah, what was the damage?
2 points of willpower, which is going to give you
2 yards.
It's going to give you a serious
camera
burden. Yeah. I feel like you now have an uncommon phobia of like fence posts.
How about
you just have so much. If there's a fence post anywhere near you, you're like, oh shit, oh god, I'm remembering that moment.
I back up 2 yards really hard into a fence post.
Like you now associate like fence posts with your failure to get lucky here, and she just is looming over you like You ain't
And I'm just
shit,
like,
sir.
it was just, I thought, well, it was my assumption that, well,
we'll get all our news
later.
from the saloon rather than from City Slickin', writing fancy ink-covered, picture-taking, chemical-using, drug-dealing. And she's just like, get off the God's damned ranch. Harmony smite you down, and may the Lord Ruler take your soul.
Expertly handled, miss. Now, I sense you a bit
I was
more.
talking to you, too.
I am not as responsible for my associates' actions. Now, let me just cut to the chase. I take it you're very straightforward folk. I am here to offer monetary assistance on result of your, as a result of your.
She holds her hand out. She's like, show me the money.
I don't. I show her like a checkbook. Like, what can I like? Can I show her because I don't actually
Pulp
carry.
Fiction briefcase.
I don't actually carry. I'm too rich to carry like actual boxings or whatever they're called now. So can I show her that?
Have you pre-written out like, I will pay old lady McFanny X amount of dollars to help her through this terrible crisis?
It's an unsigned check, is what it is.
I would like to.
From what you're saying, it sounds like you're going to give her a small amount of money to help fix her problem now, to get you in the door to be like, by the way, I could just buy your land.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, well then make a resources 1 roll. Spend a resource. Make a resources 1, and we'll see if that can get you through the door.
So this is actually enough money that I have to spend a resource.
Yeah. It's got to be significant enough that she could like buy fence postings and another cow for the one that Brieger chopped in the head off of.
Buy more fence postings to ward off photography.
Forward a nudge.
Yeah. It's not just that your money is like enough. Her like eyebrows go up, and she's like, "Well, this is a quite significant sum, sir."
As I said, I feel I'm a community activist, and what has happened here is a tragedy.
You ride?
Do I ride? Yes.
I don't think you.
She whistles over.
Truthfully.
Now, I ride because I don't ride the way she means. I ride in the way that rich people do, like equestrian sports.
No. What she means is,
ride in the backseat
can
of
you ride a horse?
Do or die.
So she whistles over to one of the farmhands who brings you over a horse, and she's just like, the reporter stays here. You go inside alone.
All right.
I'll have your weapon, sir.
I don't have a weapon.
Well, then you won't mind if Blue here searches you, and it's like a Kolos-blooded farmhand with blue skin, and he's like,
Kolos guy Blue.
He's like,
Blue,
they
Blue.
call me Blue.
You want to know why?
He's like,
because I'm blue.
That is a very noble name, sir.
He starts patting you down. Do you have any weapons hidden on you?
I don't.
All right, so it's not like he's not like hostile or anything. He's literally just with his massive hands checking to make sure you don't have any weapons to go shoot the old lady with.
That's totally valid.
Okay, you get on the horse and you ride there alone, leaving Charity Evelyn McFanny with her most hated enemy, Daryl Hart.
She's pounding in fence posts the whole time.
I like wince at every pound.
That's great.
So when we see old lady McFanny, she looks like Ian, who is the grandmother from Avatar: Legend of Korra, and she's like knitting a sweater. She's literally just like, "Oh, do come in, sir. My Blue tells me that you're quite the established young man. I understand you have some money you'd like to offer to help me. How charitable of you. What'd you say your name was?"
My name is Dixon Beaumont, and I'm new in town.
Mm-hmm.
I come from the South, and I consider myself a community activist. And when I heard what happened to your little farmstead out here, my heart broke into pieces, man.
So she adjusts the quilt that she's doing, and we get a brief flash of Brieger is the thing that she's quilting, with a spike being driven through his neck and blood spraying everywhere. She's, "Oh, please excuse me. It's just..." and she continues on with like getting his
Just
feet.
gotta beat the devil out of it.
Ma, you work fast, ma'am.
I've had all day to work on it. It's just a little thing I like to do. My grandmama said, You remember Lady Vin there. Remember your enemies, stab them to death, and go find yourself a good husband. I've done all three. Done pretty good by myself.
Well, ain't that just a picturesque little life and a perfect little bit of wisdom? I think I'll take that with me on my way home. But if you don't mind, I was thinking we could talk a bit about the nature of this here problem. As I said, I'm a bit new in town, and I don't quite fully understand this whole random bandit attacks that destroy the livelihoods of good, honest folk.
Man, I feel like such a dick for doing this, but I knew I was going to do it. So, let's figure out how bad this is about to be. It's going to be pretty bad. I'm curious as to what you say. There are ways around this. So she has a rating of that. She turns to you, and you spend a few minutes talking to her. You feel a strong connection to her, as if you've known her for years. She's like she might not be your grandmother, but you might refer to her as Granny.
Does my aluminum-laced Panama hat not prevent this?
It is not a mental effect. It is a connection effect, as you're being duraluminum tapped. You feel like she's your closest friend. You have difficulty betraying her to anyone other than a sworn enemy. And she's like, well, my boy, why don't you just tell me what it is you're here for? And you feel compelled to tell the truth.
Well, you know what? I will just tell the half-truth. A lie of omission is not a lie. Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest, ma'am. I am an entrepreneur and a prospective landowner, and I was going to offer, since these thugs seem to be muscling in on your territory, to purchase the land from you myself legitimately, and therefore deal with it as opposed to you, and you and yours could retire in luxury.
Oh, what do you know about these thugs?
Tell old Granny everything.
Well, there are 21
all
of
your
them.
secrets.
I
Dance,
say,
Wreckage, dance. Remember, old friend.
Gosh, she is my old friend, but also this is like my entire livelihood
Yeah,
that she's putting
I
on the
know.
line. So she could be my fucking mother and she could fuck off. So the half-truth that I'll say here is I will basically recite word for word what I know about them, which is what Hart told me, and that's it. Like, Hart told me all their numbers and what they did, and I'll talk about what they did to her farm.
Well, you seem very well informed, Mr. Beaumont.
I do consider myself a community activist, ma'am. So I've been following these boys since they knocked over that shipment that had the good wampums cigars in it, and I've been talking with him to try and get him back on his feet. But this is so much worse. I think you'll agree.
Well, you seem like a nice boy and all that, but I'm afraid I can't sell the farm. I've worked my entire life to get it. Can I get you some tea, maybe some juice, cookies? I got something fresh baking in the oven.
That would be lovely, ma'am. And perhaps I could tell you some stories from back when I was a wee one down in that southern town I'm from.
Elendil?
Am I from Elendil?
I mean, it's the major city. It's where most of the wealthy people are from. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as there's gentry there, then I'll say, I'll tell you some stories of when I was growing up in Elendil.
Well, I probably won't care for those at all. But it would be inhospitable for me not to listen. And we get the idea, because we know she's a duraluminum builder. She listens to dumb shit like this all the time. It's a side effect of her power, is that when people feel that you're an old friend, they'll tell you stuff you would tell an old friend, and she's like, fuck these guys.
You say we know she's a duraluminum.
No, I'm saying we behind the camera know that she is.
Yeah, but I behind the camera don't know what that means.
Okay, so she can form strong connections with people using her ferrochemical power.
Okay.
She stores
she stores personal interconnection.
Ooh,
which means that there are times when everybody hates her. So let's just move in then.
Cold bitch most of the time.
So
they call her old lady McFanny and not.
I guess we have
grandma.
I guess we have the interaction. I have paid her money to help her get back on her feet, and I then returned to my associate hours later. Unfortunately for him, and we return to the.
I would really love to see a SciFri scene in here because we really have not had a lot of him.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, Flint Carson is a mysterious man.
Yeah, what could Flint be doing now at this point? Is it something else to do?
Maybe this is the show from Flint where he's like, "Stand back, banditos, or I shall smite thee with my Mysterion."
Well, this is later. This is we get like a couple sun cycles, and then it's like the Kolos crew of Brieger, and like just fucking our single man.
Where he's like, "My name is Flint Carson, and I have been sent by Mr. Beaumont.
Now,
Go away, you Kolos-blooded scum."
Please, sir, we will leave if you don't hurt us.
I will argue that someone with the trait dramatic flair does not recite lines.
I know. I'm
reckless
I'm
dramatic flair.
I am doing the opposite of dramatic flair. I'm hamming it up to indicate what the scene might look like. Right? Is this a thing you want to do, Flint Carson?
Maybe, or maybe
are you
there's
driving off the
another
bandits?
scene someone else has in mind.
Actually, how about he just comes into town, like, and sort of introduces himself as what would be a good word, like, because he's not a lawman, right?
You're a fixer.
I'm a what?
A fixer.
Right.
Fixes problems. A bounty killer.
Regulator.
He's a fixer
fucking regulator.
Like, what if our next scene is that me, Flint,
in this case, mounting up is literally getting your mount.
What if this next scene is me, Flint, and Hart are putting on the show of me hiring people to take care of this problem?
Okay, so you're like going to be standing in a square like, "My name is Dixon Beaumont, and I am hiring men to take on the Briegers boys."
And I'm like walking around with pen and paper, getting people to like sign contracts.
And part of that is going to be Flint shows up and uses his super speed powers to be like, "I hire the absolute best."
Yeah, well,
I brought this man in from the Orient. Look at his magical powers. With him on our side, who could stop us?
I mean, to be fair, I probably would have, like, if Flint Carson had a race, it probably would be of vaguely Asian descent.
So, so maybe we like get like the camera is maybe over your shoulder or something, and we can see like down in the square, like me walking around with papers, and like on a soapbox, Dixon is like hollering about our thing.
Yeah.
So the question is, when we're rolling for this later, because this is definitely going to be an influence roll. Who is rolling for it?
I feel like I roll because I'm speaking, but I get dice from...
Let's see if mechanically Flint Carson, or narratively, if Flint Carson supports this. So, Flint, why don't you tell us what you're doing while maybe we're hearing a little bit of voiceover from Beaumont in the background.
If he was like, if he planted me in the crowd, or if he planned for me to make like an entrance, like I'm already under his hire.
You tell us. It's your choice.
My intention is that you're already under my hire, and I'm going to show that I have the very best, and that I hire the very best.
So, what I guess you see is a scene of again, the rooftops of the city as this like speech is heard in the background, and you see Flint like,
"My name is Dixon."
He's sitting up against a roof.
I consider myself a community activist, and I know the people of this community. I'm doing it softly so you can keep.
It's not softly enough.
Okay. But like basically when like the speech reaches like a fitting crescendo, Flint stands up off the roof, like flips his duster like wide open in the wind, and like jumps down, like softening his landing with a coin, and like brandishing his Mysterion 36 revolver as he lands next to Mr. Beaumont.
Do you do any fancy tricks?
Yes, I do a backflip.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I hire the very best.
All right. This is going to be an influence versus influence roll for damage against old lady McFanny. Because you are attempting to tell the crowd that she can't handle her own business, and that you need to step in for her, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
trying
saying
to
that,
tell.
actually. What
I
I'm
mean,
trying to
that's
do-
the implied.
What I'm trying to do is show. I'm just trying to show the town that my intention is to solve this problem. It is purely to increase my reputation.
Interpreting it as that you should solve the problem instead of her.
Right.
Yeah,
You are
'Cause she
attempting to
always solves
convince
her
them that.
problems
Yeah.
before now.
Yes.
You need to convince her that she needs Flint Carson, problem solver extraordinaire, on her side.
Sure. Okay.
So
that's
I
the way-
mean, yeah, it is influence, and you have to be going up against something, and it's her.
So,
You're
like,
going
maybe
up
I
against
land
her
next to-
reputation.
maybe, yeah.
Sure. All
Like
right.
I land next to him, and he's like, "This here is my best man."
You will get a bonus die for Flint Carson.
Okay.
For sure, definitely.
I would like to call on the traits conniving.
I think you can also take a bonus die for your man in the crowd.
Yep. All right.
Working
2 bonus
crowd.
die. I would also like to call on conniving and natural leader because it actually
it's
is.
all gonna
These are
happen.
my men.
So
Yeah,
This is a
right?
leadership.
And when I hear the duster, it's my cue to like point and get everyone's attention
Dramatically,
before
yeah.
the backflip, right? Yeah.
That's so great. And I will float by the possibility that my being from the big city, being civilized, is also influencing people. How do you feel about
I mean,
civilized?
we are in basically the cesspit.
Yeah, I feel like civilized is not going to imply. In fact, it would almost work against you because these people are self-made.
Yeah, they
ranch hands
hated
and
me
such.
because I was a city
Yeah.
reporter
All right.
folk.
City slicker.
She has 11 dice to defend with.
Okay.
8 reputation, and then cutthroat, domineering, and self-made man. And self-made man's really the one that's standing against you.
All right. So I only have 8 dice, but I can re-roll. So
Yeah, that gives you a significant
Fours,
edge.
6s.
Pair of 4s with 4 nudges.
Didn't realize that was your roll.
I already have a pair of 5s.
Pair of
so
5s, but no nudges.
Those
Do you
nudges.
want to go for...
All right, whatever the hell. I'll re-roll for some nudges. Why not?
All right, how much you want to blow on that? Up to 4.
I'll do 4, and I'll do the 1s and the 2s because those pairs don't matter at all, right?
Yes.
Okie doke. So I'll roll another 4d6, try and get some more nudges. Now, just more pairs.
Yeah, so there's no complications here. She absolutely crushes complications, but you will swing for 1 point of damage,
right.
lowering her reputation to 12. So, yeah. It's not that you get a huge wave of people, but you do get enough support in the crowd. Just enough. Like maybe a third of the people are like, yeah, you know what? Old lady McFanny does seem like she needs help. And maybe someone else is like, yeah, she is getting on in years, see? And look at that guy. He's fast. Real fast. And a third guy's like,
Faster than you.
hey, reporter guy, what'd you say your name was again?
Like the name's Daryl Hall.
Are you going to quote me on this article?
Oh, yeah, I like whip out my thing, and I'm like, of course, any
Yeah, he's
Hey,
like
wisdom
says his
from,
name. He's like, I'll help defend the old lady. Make sure to put down my name. It has 3 L's in it. His name is like Yilich, Yolanovic, Yilman.
yeah. I'm like, if you
He's
could
got a
just write
very
that
like
down right
Celtic
here for me.
name where it's got like several L's in a row. I feel like this is a good end scene. You've established that you.
It's the
We fade out on me just doing like concussive L's in cursive.
yeah, and then
over
like
and
it
over.
zooms out like the headlines like Flint next to Mr. Beaumont, and then the headlines just like mysterious man helps the elderly or vigilante or something.
All right, so you guys are all going to get 3 advancements for completing 2 objectives, and 1 for amazing fucking roleplay.
Woo!
We did accents the
Yay.
whole time.
Yeah,
We actually did accents.
we got a lot of complaints about how not southern you guys were, but
We're literally
tried.
like a bunch of.
Protest. My southern accent is completely up to snuff.
Here's the thing: we're not like actually doing impressions of Southern people. We're literally like 5-year-olds playing cowboy.
I want to be the villain.
I take pictures.
I'm a reporter.
You're the weird kid.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 advancements.
awesome. So let's take a couple seconds here to talk about how we liked Alloy of Law and why it might be a good idea for our audience to go to Crafty Games and purchase not just the Mistborn adventure game, but the Alloy of Law digital supplement if they too want to play Cowboys and Indians, which in this case is actually Cowboys and Koloss.
Yeah, but I just want to say, I think.
Oh my God! Wait a sec. I'm sorry, Virgil, but wouldn't Cowboys and Koloss is like the D&D version of this game, right? Hey guys, let's play Cowboys and Koloss.
They play that in Scaladriel. It's a published role-playing game.
It was like, oh, you always make me be the Koloss.
I don't want to be the Koloss.
I wanted to be the Mistborn. No one's allowed to be Mistborn anymore.
No one wants to play as Elend.
I have to be pre-Emperor Elend. Oh. I don't know how to use my book talent. It's so stupid.
I want to be an aluminum compounder.
Wow, that shows how much you know about aluminum compounding. Holy shit, it's fucking overpowered as fuck. You know that pewter allomancy aluminum ferrochemy is called the Ghost Assassin, right? Because aluminum ferrochemy lets you wipe your identity. And so you can literally just be like, hi, my name is Dave, and then just walk past everyone in the bar, murder somebody, and walk out and be like, oh, my name's Jim. You see that guy Dave that murdered that dude?
That was fucked up, Jim. That was fucked up.
That's pretty OP. But what does aluminum compounding get you?
I mean, you have huge amounts of identity, right? So they're often fanatically wealthy because they're just like, my name is X guy, and I believe this, and everyone's like, he does believe that.
Oh,
he's got very strong opinions.
Oh, so you get to decide what other people believe about you, basically.
Yeah, because you have identity.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, I think Eero Saito did hit a really good one there. A lot less dark.
Wreckage, do you want to work on your sheet real quick? You look like you're trying very hard to like lift it up.
I am.
It's okay. Just go ahead and do it, man. Just like cover your camera real quick. Don't close it on Zoom, but yeah, do what you need to because you're going red or purple. Something's happening to you.
It's stress.
Yeah, Virgil was saying about Alloy of Law.
Yeah, a much lighter theme, and also I think the first time I've played Western, and I'd never been like, oh, I want to play a Western game before. But with the already well-established in my headcanon magic metal stuff added in, makes it so much more exciting and fun and interesting. I really suggest it if you do want to do a Western themed thing to throw in all this extra fucking amazing stuff.
Well, that was my thing going in. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I never really watched much Westerns. I don't know where my inspiration's going to be. And then I'm like, what if I made my character anime? Because I know
it works. Aerocyto immediately latched onto the anime.
So I made him a mix of Revolver Ocelot and Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop.
And well, and you want to know what the thing is? The reason that works so well is because Spike Spiegel is heavily Western influenced himself. Yes. So
I mean, the show is called Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, you're one removed from Clint Eastwood. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but I think it's a great setting to have a little bit more lighthearted fun.
Yeah, you know, strong arming old ladies.
No, I mean, the tone was more lighthearted than like this super dramatic. There's just not ash falling the whole time. There's grass and stuff.
Yeah, and there's cows. Really, what we all need to look forward to is when Aerocyto posts that Charity Evelyn McFanny fan art. I mean, that's really what I spent 4 hours working towards that moment, obviously. I planned it all along and knew this was going to all happen.
You were going to make a girl NPC called Evelyn, so I would have
you know, at the last second, you were like, I hope her name's Evelyn. I was like, that would actually be a pretty good middle name.
Well, because I was just like, you were describing this, like, tomboyish cowgirl, and I'm like, well, taking bets her name's Evelyn.
I almost don't want to say this, but I will. Someone sent me on Discord. They were like, make this a character in Alloy of Law. And I think it's Applejack from My Little Pony. They were like, this is a human drawing of her. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. If it comes up, I'll do it. And you were like, Old Lady McFanny and her farm. I was like, well, farms do need ranch hands. So I guess that's a thing.
There you go. So what you're telling me is that Charity Evelyn McFanny is actually an anthropomorphized Applejacks from
Pony, yes.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. I really like the NPC Evelyn in normal Mistborn, but in this one, her last name's McFanny.
Ruins it.
She doesn't get to choose her last name. She's born with it.
I mean, they
Maybe
could have
she
not
could
changed
change
their
her-
names from the McFinnegans.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you should just marry her, and then her last
maybe
name would be
she'll
Carson.
Evelyn Carson. Yeah.
That's got a ring to it.
Charity Carson. Come on.
Charity
I
Carson.
mean, you actually have a shot with her. No fancy talking City Slicker has a shot with.
I think we've established that pretty much.
Yeah.
When Flint Carson's but yeah, I like how Alloy of Law is more like lighthearted and like sort of lighter than our normal Mistborn because it makes it way better for one shots. Which is like
We just had fun with it, and I feel like we're gonna keep having fun with it. We're gonna have fun ideas, and
also,
that's why
yeah.
I think that's why the objectives and scheme like went really quick, is because it was like, what is just gonna be fun, not so much what's actually gonna advance our house. It's
That
like,
is true.
I mean, I know that Wreckage, you were on fire, but I'm just gonna take all the credit and say that it was all inspired by the McFanny name.
You
flows
were
from
pushing
there.
that so hard.
it's the font from which all of the
like-
in this episode
Exactly. So
That's
No,
what
that
I
was
like
brilliant.
about
I did-
like just Mistborn as a system in general is I usually like struggle a lot with character creation, but like this just makes it like flow so naturally that I just made a character that I instantly fell in love with.
I mean, it
Like
doesn't
the
surprise me
idea
at
of
all.
like just like the idea was I had barely an idea in my head. I wanted to be the guy with the gun, and then it turned into Flint Carson, professional drifter.
Professional.
Well, it's exactly midnight here, so it's high noon on exactly the other side of the world.
And it's new.
So let's do some wrap ups,
Justice
unless
ain't
anybody's
gonna
got
be
something to throw down here. All right, Virgil, let's do some outro.
all right, thanks everyone for watching. It was great to be back with some of the Mistborn crew. I'll be hopefully filling in when they need spots and we do one shots and stuff. Now that my character sheet's all ready for the era, I'm ready to cowboy up. If you want to catch any more stuff I'm doing, mostly role play, sometimes some video games and music and art and stuff. All that stuff is over at twitch.tv/Zircon5. You can also find my music, my creative works on soundcloud.com/Zircon5.
really good music. Put it in your RPG streams.
Yeah, a lot of it's just free download, Creative Commons license. Put it in your YouTube videos, your plays, your streams, whatever you want. It's good stuff. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and thanks for inviting me, Arthur.
Yeah, no problem. You're the first person I went to
All these weeks of Mistborn, we thought Virgil was dead, but he was right here.
all along. Yeah. Speaking of someone we thought was dead, but is here all along, let's talk about Wreckage.
I agree with Aerocyto that I should get an extra advantage for coming up with McFanny.
Oh god.
I mean, there's no like straw poll, so like Virgil has my vote.
Why not a
Very
straw
well.
poll? Let's come up with a straw poll.
No, Virgil wins it. No matter what happens, Virgil's gonna win the popular vote on that
It's
one.
true.
That is not true.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, Wreckage is like,
You could
I'm gonna
get
go to my
Wreckage to
20
Carson.
friends, and I'm gonna have
Wreckage
them
has
like-
direct access to the electronic voting machines. Then yes, there will be a different result.
All
No,
right.
I believe
Fucking
that Virgil's
ass.
being crushed in our last Star Wars poll, isn't he? Like not even like one vote or something like that.
It's because it was get something done, and I literally died.
Yeah. I'm just saying Virgil loses sometimes.
Oh, we got some
Speaking of,
Evelyn. We got some Charity Evelyn McFanny fan art.
Already?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It's not Aerocyto. It's Big
Okay.
Super X.
Yeah.
I know everyone's like, already? No.
Yeah.
Someone's been working
'Cause
on
I
it the
was
whole
like,
time.
I'm
I
so
mean,
used to having only one
He's
person go.
3D animating that. I'm surprised that goes
Yeah,
fast.
that's pretty. That's
Like
pretty
he's got fence posts in
Yeah, I don't like it. It has too many fence posts.
Yeah, that would bug you.
Look, Aerocyto isn't one to talk about artists being fast. Like literally, like by the time I was done with my character's backstory, it's like, hey, and I drew you.
Yeah.
Would
yeah,
we
he is
say
fucking
that
fast as shit.
Aerocyto's fast but not fast enough? Fast
No. No. Fast.
So yeah, I guess we were gonna outro me.
We were, but then we decided to do something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
So SciFri, what do you...
All right, that's fine.
No,
No.
go ahead.
Go
Here's the
Wreckage.
vote that's in chat. It's also going to be in the description. I'll let these fellas know what the outcome is.
Who deserves an extra advancement? Just period.
I'm voting for myself, no shame.
I'm voting for myself, and I'm not ashamed.
I want to get at least one vote. You know.
You'll get more than one vote, I promise you.
Yeah, get crushed, guys. Get crushed.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. You just have a mustache. That's all people care about.
Love you guys.
Anyway, I'm Dr. Wreckage. You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Wreckage. I am going to be doing a lot of stuff in the coming futures. This Tuesday on twitch.tv/HENLEY, the day after you can catch Cyberpunks, which features Arthur and Virgil on that same channel. We will be running Sunless Sea, a beta RPG that I have designed with the help of my friend, the Buzzing from Britain, the great land of jolly old England. It's going to be great. I still need to know what Virgil's character is, but he's also been helping me with the assets for that show. So Virgil's been a invaluable teammate in producing this. Wow, you look like such a
character portrait.
Bodied head tonight, Virgil.
It's the black background.
Yeah, it's really bad tonight, but or good depending on your perspective. The head of Virgil Levenger has been supporting everyone.
We brought him back from Mistborn Part 4. We found him.
Preserved in the jar.
Yeah.
Then on Wednesday, you can catch me here again for Star Wars Edge of the Empire. Things are coming to a Virgil's disembodied head, and we are...
It is, sadly.
The irony being his character is about to lose his head, right?
It's pretty bad.
Perhaps. I mean, it's literally, look, guys, it's literally coming down to a dice roll where if Arthur gets a single success, the party wipes, and if he doesn't, we win completely. Like it's all or nothing.
One roll. But then if that roll doesn't kill us all, then we have to make the next roll.
Yeah, but also the guy who's making that roll has like 1 billion dice to make that roll.
Still, oh God,
I know. Sure. I mean, the other thing that could happen is this person could successfully roll and also knock herself out, and the exact same.
And then everyone TPKs.
Yeah, like everybody could die. It's. Please join us for Wednesday's show. Then Thursday, Sin Eaters, and then Friday this again. Only it'll be probably Mistborn, but maybe it'll be Alloy of Law if some unfortunate, unforeseeable, in no way.
It's going to be this system either way.
Yeah, it's going to be this with these general people either way. If you want me to do a thing on your thing, you can contact me on Twitter. I will GM or do a show. In the near future, I will be actually GMing a one-shot for Arthur, although we're still in the planning phases of that. And me and Virgil are in the planning phases of joining the Tavern RP, which is attached to the Winter's Edge campaign that goes up on Saturdays. So we're going to be involved in that in a way.
I have no idea if I want to jump into that because currently I have every channel in AP's Discord muted.
Because it's like ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Did that?
I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna go whole ham.
So into it, and I'm like wondering if I'm missing out. Like
you are probably. I'm gonna get into it.
Probably.
Like, yeah, I mean, I've been watching that channel and reading Tavern RP for the last few days. It's a thing.
It is a thing. Well said.
All right. Next
I have to say, my favorite scene from the last Star Wars wasn't any of the crazy things that happened. It was a stormtrooper who knocked himself out by hitting the wall. Because he generated too much threat on his attack. That was pretty good.
Pretty funny.
SciFri_. Let's talk about you.
This is the first episode of Ally of Law, so I can safely say that this was the best episode yet.
No, that's already the name of 2 different episodes on 2 different shows.
That's already the name.
I'm very glad that nobody noticed that the one called the best episode yet was simply okay. But yeah, I'm SciFri_ on Twitter, SciFri without the underscore on Twitch. That's SCIFRI. You can follow me on Twitter for funny jokes or posts about games. You can follow me on Twitch to see me eventually stream games. And probably, maybe, if I decide to not be lazy, sometime this week I will be streaming one-shots of tabletop RPGs on my Twitch, because it has been a long while since I put on the GM gloves. And
I think you'll probably have.
Do you need players?
Yeah, call me.
I might need players, and I will definitely be looking in APGamingREAL's Discord and Mr. Eric Vulgaris' Discord for players.
You will be contacting your super best friend, Dr. Wreckage, first, though, right?
Yes, totally. I'll drop before I contact anyone in Discord. I'll just drop a link in the Mistborn Skype chat.
That is, you're a champion, a saint, and a something else.
Anything else, SciFri?
No, that's me in a nutshell. Check out my Twitch. Check out my Kirby action figure that I got from Japan. It's really cool. He has magnet arms, and you can pose him.
Those just come off, and then they're just magneted on.
And then
It's the
you
same
have
principle.
a
BB-8.
third arm that you can attach to him that
With a
has
sword?
thing for him to have various props,
Sword,
like this little wand. And now he's the wand Kirby.
Bravo.
He's got the fire hat.
All right, can I change who my votes for who deserves an extra
He's got the
advancement?
sword cap.
You want
with
to change it to Kirby?
the sword over here? Yeah, put Kirby on the Well, the best prop I think that Kirby comes with is actually the multiple faces. So if Kirby wants a new copy ability, then you just flip him up.
You just
you just flip it off. You just do that, and then now he's jumping around. So that's my Kirby import from Japan that I spent way too much money on, but it was completely worth it.
Yeah, total worth.
I don't see anything less than value.
So, this is AP Gaming Real. Thank you for joining us tonight. I would strongly encourage you to head to Crafty Games and pick up the Mistborn system and the Alloy of Law supplement. Really, I just like the way that the players kind of set the pace, and the GM is the one that is attempting to foil their plans a little bit. Just mix it up.
It's a lot of crunch to learn about the universe, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is it's almost the reverse. The mechanics aren't that difficult. It's the lore that's very crunchy. But you can just play how you want it, where you want it. So consider picking that up at Crafty Games. Tweet at Crafty Games. Let them know how much you like this. That's at Crafty_Games. Let them know how much you like this particular one-shot, because they like hearing from us a lot.
Yeah.
Because we're digital influencers and new media
Interfluencers.
Influencers, digital innovators. They're buzzwords, fucking buzzwords, advertising bullshit.
Hashtag on brand.
Let them know that you, Scott, went there from us, because they like hearing about that kind of stuff. And I like hearing from you. And so, if you would like to put in the YouTube comment section what it is you liked about this particular episode, let me know. And Twitch watchers, just let me know in chat right now.
Yeah,
Or
add a
tweet it to
hashtag
me,
McFanny on.
Yeah,
There
tweet.
you go.
Tweet it to me at
Taking the Twitter
APGamingREAL,
advice and
hashtag
starting
McFanny.
hashtags.
What did you like about this particular episode?
Hashtag.
We will
You
be
could
back
like how
next
much
week.
it was on brand. You could like how little it was on toilet.
Oh, God. Stick around. Watch my Twitter account for any more Aerocyto art going out from this episode.
And
I
watch
suspect we may get
Aerocyto's
all of the
Twitter
characters,
account.
plus Charity Evelyn McFanny. So if you like cowgirls with large tracts of land in the background.
All the fan artists. Shout out to all of them.
Tracks for
Shout
land.
out to Big Super X.
Big Super X as well. Doesn't have he does have a Twitter page, but he does not. But I'll talk to him about it anyway.
Yeah, dump it in the description.
I wish I had a better way to end than this, but instead I'm just gonna stumble
We're
my way
out.
off the
This
stage.
is the greatest handgun in the world.
Yeah, there we go. It's high noon
High
somewhere.
noon somewhere.
It's time.
Which is always technically correct.
Unless it's like